Hello everyone, eventually we've got there. We actually have to quickly go back because we're going to try get one more driver in if we can. Although it is going to be difficult. We shall see. And of course that's not going to work, so we'll give it a shot. Doesn't work, we'll have to go through qualifying because it's nearly done. And we can't wait any longer. There we go. Right. Everything's sorted from our side. We can't do any more, but we do have LSI once again racing. Welcome to F1 26. Welcome to the summer season 5. We have 12 cars on the grid. Hopefully that's going to be 13 in a few moments' time. Maxon tops the times. Welcome back to LSI. We've got Zingy in P5 watching on board right now, and look at all of the beautiful screens and colours that we have at the bottom. I don't know what's going on. We've got battery, we've got overtake mode, we've got the straight line modes as well. Not along here that we're passing through with Zingy, but we'll go through Maggots and Beckett's. As you will see, that front wing will drop down. There we go. And then we have also, of course, the rear wing dropping down as well. As qualifying continues, but the final moments are upon us. We've got the Alpine going round the final few corners to finish on their debut in LSI. What's it going to be for them? P12? It will be P12 for them. It's going to be the Red Bull across the line, sulking to P3. A brilliant improvement. Zingy takes it all away and jumps to the second spot on the grid to go a 10th behind on Maxon. That is a brilliant effort. What can Maxon do here? We've got one of the Ferraris coming round the final corner in a moment's time. There we go, we're back. And it's Maxon in P1. Everybody else is finished. Maxon's got a final run that they can get done when they cross the line. Unfortunately, we did just miss pretty much everybody across the line there. But it is Maxon who doesn't improve in the end. But we're set up for a very, very interesting race for the first time with the new regulations, with the new methods of racing a car. It's Zingy and Maxon up front, followed by Eager Pro in P3. That's the incident section, but nothing really too much to worry about. Here we go. The 50% race is upon us. We'll see you in a bit. For the first time in F126. Ready, hold, go! Who's going to get it into turn one? We're finally away. Sir Maxon on the outside line. Zingy gets a good launch. It's the McLaren of Jericho Willis who will jump Eager Pro off the line. But how's it going to go into the first major braking point of the circuit? Zingy looks like he's going to have a switchback, but no. Sir Maxon recovers it. Down the straight we shall go. Everybody gets through fairly cleanly, just except from David and Sunby. Down at the back, the late joiners who might have some problems with their setup as they have joined so late. Nice and close is everyone. The racing ball drops back as Sulkin is sitting in front, but on the inside line Charlie's going to risk it all. Luckily they keep it together. Eager Pro down to P6 now off the start, just continues to fall through the order. Now they do have a go at getting back past Charlie. They get the job done, but we're going to get all the way to Maggots and Beckett's and Cops and everybody side by side. It's absolutely incredible. We were going 2 by 2 there through the few corners. Unfortunately, we've got a few laggy moments from a few drivers. Hopefully, we can get a better idea of how that's going to affect the race later on and make a decision on what needs to be done, as that was Eager Pro and Sulkin going side by side. Just for a moment, it was more of a defensive throw from Sulkin than anything, and then they continue. Into the pit lane goes Cravato after the start. Unfortunately, it looks like they've got some sorts of issue as we finish our first lap of racing. It's Eager Pro and Sulkin going side by side once more, but they keep it together for now. There is all our data for tyres. Mediums for everybody except from one car. Cravato, of course, getting that new hard tyre to take them to the end of the Grand Prix. Out of 26 laps we've got to get through here. And it's Sulkin who is still within this attack mode of the car in front, so they do still get their overtake mode. It's going to be very close between Frantic and Aaron, but Aaron gets through from going to having major graphics card problems all the way to now being sat in P7. They've done a very good job so far already today, and we're only on lap 2, so whatever result they can achieve I think is a bonus, because they really should not be here. Looking at what their computer was looking like just a few moments ago. Now Eager Pro looks like they might be losing that overtake mode. Charlie's going to try and slingshot themselves to catch the cars in front. But the top 3, Jericho Willis, Zingy and Sir Maxon, are now leading out in front in a bit of a peloton style race. Still, the others cannot seem to find a way through. ERS is available, but overtake mode, not down this one. There is a move to the inside for Eager Pro, continuing to fight, allowing the cars ahead to break away. Charlie will have the upper hand, and they should take the lead, but they've just lost the traction, and the Aston Martin will go through. Will that be a decisive moment for these guys, or will they continue to fight? We've got Sulkin sat behind just watching this battle, and they can't do anything about it as the cars in front run away from them. Aaron and P7 have got a train of their own behind. Move into Copse Corner for the Red Bull. Looks pretty sweet, but it's not going to be sorted by the Norwegian. But it will be in a few corners' time. Very, very fast through Maggots and Beckett's, but harvesting that energy in different parts of the circuit for different drivers. That's what you could see there. Sulkin decided they wanted to save a little bit. Charlie didn't have quite the same idea, and they made a bit of contact, but luckily nothing too much more, and blasting back through to get the inside line. It's going to be short-lived, I think. There's contact, and now they are going to get through. Sulkin on a very, very tight inside line. found some instability. There was a bit of contact, but I think Charlie will get through okay. Now Aaron and the crew catch up. We've got Cheyenne right behind as Frantic loses the position, but they're going to go side by side as Aaron past their next Red Bull. Can they get the job done? Well, they've got the momentum, they've got the confidence, they have the inside line, but it doesn't seem to be the most powerful one out of that corner. Do they have the battery though? It looks like Sulkin is just falling like a stone. The inside line is available. They'll open up the steering. They'll try and squeeze last year's contender out, but it's not going to happen, and it's just going to invite the teammate of Sulkin through. Cheyenne will have a brilliant opportunity. I think it's going to be job done. The internet condition looks okay, not optimal, but okay at the moment, so they are still, for now, safe to be in this race. And the top three continue on their own as this big split has occurred. We have Shindre on their own at the moment, sat in P10. Ozera in P11 with somebody just behind. And David, who are racing at the back on their own at the moment, but still getting that track time in, which is important. Gravato, of course, having that pit stop situation. The two teammates switch positions. Cheyenne now ahead, and Charlie 8/10 in front, finding a way to break from the pack. Well, I say that, continue their duel with EagerPro at the front of this field. Just looking to the inside, then backing off and continuing. And the two Red Bulls definitely are menacing in their mirrors. Now, sitting with the top three. Zingy currently in P2. Sitting behind Sumatson. They've got battery to use, so is Sumatson. And so is Jericho Willis. It can just save it so quickly. As you can see, they're getting to the end of the straight and harvesting, even through the corners as well, very severely. And really, this is going to be a long distance race. They've found each other on track, they've found a rhythm, they haven't fought too hard. They've allowed each other to relax. Racing calm is racing fast from the top three, and there is no competition for them. 5 seconds away is the next car, and that's EagerPro that we're on board with right now. Lap 6 out of 26, we just don't know how the strategy is going to be, but we do know that the tyres can be eaten alive in this new edition of the F125 game. The lower traction means more sliding, although weirdly lower downforce means less tyre wear. So we just don't know how it's going to play out, as the setups are all new between all of the drivers as well. Ooh, the Red Bull having a problem, making a bit of a mistake, and that is very, very laggy just for a moment there, which doesn't help anybody else out on track. Their teammates sat behind. Currently, I'd say loving life, but they do have a car directly in front and behind them, and they're being beaten by their teammates, so it's not really that great news for them at the moment. is the overtake on their teammate, and it will be a nice progression move by Aaron right at the same time. No upside down wing in the F126 game. It is just standard stuff for everybody here. Both, of course, on the Red Bull and Ferrari in real life. Frantic makes the move on Cheyenne, as the Red Bull had a good stint out ahead of Sulkin, has since dropped down from P6 to P9. Overtake mode still available from P5 all the way down to P9. And this does not look like an easy battle to be in. Everything and anything is happening. I just want to see what is going to happen when we all leave the pit lane. Will everybody have split up? That's where you want to try and lose that overtake mode, as you see Cheyenne get back through on the inside line. Once it doesn't think about going through once more. Aaron in P7, although having a charge earlier on, has dropped back down. Cheyenne now is once again on the attack after they had a charge and dropped back down. Eaglebrough and Charlie seem to have the upper hand regardless, and Sulkin sitting right behind. That seems to be a more natural state for these three drivers, whereas the Ferrari, the Red Bull and the Haas, all behind, seem to have a bit more of a fluctuating trajectory in this race. Cheyenne almost having a go at making a move, but it looks like they're going to try and do something despite the lag. In just a moment. I'm not going to have the chance using the battery as everybody. It's going to be the inside line for Aaron on Sulkin. Sulkin's still going to be ahead, and they will have the upper hand as they have the inside line, but by the time they get to the braking zone, Aaron is in front. It's the two Red Bulls directly behind, and nothing that Sulkin can do as their teammate jumps in front. Once more, in turn one, we get an overtake. Oh, and that is big contact. Unfortunately, that might have been due to lag, but we'll have to consider that one at a later point. And this is what the summer season is going to be good for, seeing how things go. No official championship. It's frustrating to have such issues like this, but it's something that we can iron out as time passes on. The top three not really deserving the screen time that they deserve for the driving that they're doing. I think he was in P2 for a while, but has now taken the reins for this top spot. These two competed for glory on many occasions against each other. It's Sir Maxon taking first blood of a real pit stop, although Alizera has actually made a pit stop just ahead, and then Shinde in P13. But out of the front runners and the pack runners, the first call has been from the Cadillac driver. Leaving the pit lane, and they will not have traffic around them. That's brilliant news. Zingy and Jericho Willis are going to have to make sure that they work together here to not lose time and react to Sulkin's manoeuvre into the pit lane. That 10 out of 26 will continue on with this race. And Jericho Willis looking at making a move on Zingy here. They were travelling very quickly in a straight line, a bit quicker than I would have liked really, but we'll find out. ERS has been blasted. There's nothing left for Jericho Willis. And I assume Zingy's going to be in a similar situation. Look at those tyres. Absolutely dead from the Scotsman. Just missing the apex at a high-speed corner like Stowe. Very, very frustrating to have when the tyres are dead. But that is how it's gone. They've dove into the pit lane, both of them. Quite tidily, reacted nicely. Is it going to be enough to counteract Samaxon though with the undercut here? Who sees almost every other car stay out in front. Cheyenne, the only car who is out ahead and now in P1. There it is, leaving the pit lane now. Are the two drivers behind, but Samaxon will jump in front. It's going to be by a bit of a distance as well. That is a very nice overcut to have. 1 lap disadvantage only, and 0.6 seconds away from overtake mode. That is perfect. Samaxon has a clear-cut opportunity at breaking away at this point. We know that they've had some pretty good pace. We'll say some good driving from the Scotsman, who's just managed to bring that gap down and break away from Jericho Willis. Jericho hasn't had as much of an answer in these moments. Zingy pushing to the limit. Is Samaxon just taunting Zingy at this point? They go and put a fastest lap in right there, so they were going pretty quick. It's Aaron speeding in the pit lane. Unfortunately, Aaron retires, and that is going to be their day done. No safety car will be deployed. Hopefully we can find out what happens to them in the end. Ryan leaves the pit lane just behind Frantic. That might be a bit of a problem for them. We will see. And now, as you can see, 1.1 seconds. What I was thinking is Samaxon just reeling Zingy in a little bit just to now break away. Zingy's had that moment of excitement to push. And they've used all of their resource and will not get overtake mode. They were so close. That would make me feel as if Samaxon wasn't exactly intending on it being the case, because to be that close is just a risk. However, Jericho Willis finding some pace now as soon as Zingy is dropping away from the Cadillac car. That makes me feel that maybe this is a bit of a different situation. Eager Pro and P4, they've broken away from Charlie since making their pit stop. Solkin has lost time to the pole in front. And then we have racing once again. Frantic and Cravato. What am I talking about? Frantic and Cheyenne. Cravato in P9. They have made some progress since they made their early pit stop before, but they will have some cars charging towards them as they continue to finish this race. Now, Frantic, 7 tenths back, will have an opportunity to get back through, but it's been a difficult race so far. You can see, compared to the previous game now, just going through turn 7, the traction reduction that you have, and you're dancing a little bit more through the corner to get the car around. fascinating stuff. Unfortunately, I haven't really had much opportunity to drive this game myself, so I cannot speak for the drivers or on the driver's perspective. I usually do. Still, competition is the same, and it can be difficult at times, as we can see from the Alpine, who finds themselves going slow enough to be ghosted by the game. Not exactly happy with that, but they do continue, sat behind the McLaren, as Sunby catches to try and get through as well. And it does look like a one-stop strategy here in the F1 26 game series. As we have Zingy continuing in P2, Jericho Willis in P3. It's Igor who does have that big split. By the way, phenomenal pace towards the end of F1 25. And then the regulation change came around just at that time. Now, they don't look like they're going slowly at all, but there is a lot more to figure out here. And we're just not quite sure what's going on. And they still do have a bit of pressure. Charlie just breathing down their neck, making sure that they don't make any mistakes. As if they do, the racing ball will take advantage. Closest cars on track is set from Zombie and Alstra just behind. Cravato has made a pit stop and they're looking to try and stay unlapped and then make progress, as they will just about jump in front of Schindler. A thing to do, go racing in the heat that we have today. Very tricky from all of these drivers across the world. It might have you struggling for grip like we just saw with Zombie. P11 for them. It looks like they were going for a move, but just making that mistake. Saw them lose that chance. And they will have to sit behind, not for long, as the Alpine runs down the pit lane to go for a fresh set of front tyre. As I don't think they'll be able to take it to the end on the medium, but they'll be able to go a decent distance. and has managed to find some pace on their teammate, catching up and splitting themselves directly in the middle of Frantic and Sulkin. Both drivers who have, I believe, won the F1.5 EU Championship. Sulkin, I may have not actually. I am mistaken. But they did at least both win in that tier. Lap 18 out of 26. We're well past the halfway mark of this race, but we found ourselves in a lull period where not too much racing's going on. Just before we do get some racing we're hoping to see, although so we might even get an overtake in a few moments, we will show Cravato out on track, who's despite a difficult start, still getting the laps in, loving life, and hoping for points, to be optimistic, I think. 3 seconds. They've got to make 15 seconds on the car in front. And not much more than that to get 2 cars in front and score some good points. We'll see how it goes. There are the 2 teammates fighting out, as we saw would be the case very shortly. And it's happened. As unfortunately, Cravato, the excitement on being on screen, has seen another time penalty be awarded. Sulkin dropping behind, Frantic, watching these 2 battle. Sulkin actually just watching their teammate drive away at this point, not having an answer at all. 5 seconds from Charlie and Igapro, these guys who were previously super close to one another. The top 3 consistently between a 1 and a 2 second margin. And they are kind of matching each other's vibe at this stage. And there is Sunbeat, who's going to try and go side by side. Is it going to work? It's not. The outside line is theirs. The switchback isn't possible either. And David in P9 looking at scoring points on debut. Sunbeat as well, as long as Cravato doesn't catch, but fighting and making mistakes as such isn't going to help them at all. Cravato looking at how they'll take Maggots, Beckett's and Cops corner. They will gain a massive chunk of time. Much quicker. They travel through, driving their way out of the corner rather than leaning on the tyre. And in no time they've gained about 2 seconds in just a few corners. Sulkin continuing to fight their teammate. They did not let Cheyenne drive away too far for too long. ERS is used, the move complete, and Frantic a spectator. Diving down the inside on their teammate, absolutely flying through. Will we see it come back? No, they will harvest that energy. Although you can effectively overtake and harvest by just slowing the car down through the battery. Although it's going to be a bit of a skill to master over the next few months of this game. That is Sulkin trying to signal to Frantic, don't fight me, I want to get through on my teammate. Then you can have a go. Well, Frantic, as a harsh driver, does not have to listen at all. They can do whatever they want, and neither does the teammate of said driver actually have to listen either. But it's probably the polite thing to do. DRS, ERS, well, not quite DRS, straight line mode, overtake mode, ERS, all being blasted. Frantic has a look to the outside line, does not commit. Sulkin opens the steering, runs wide, maintains position but loses time to their teammate ahead. And that's not going to help them at all. The top three continue on their way as we checked in with them earlier on. It's Ozera in P9, 3 seconds away is David, and Sumby just a few seconds behind. Gravato continuing to try and catch. There is the side-by-side moments as we get more racing out on track. We'll try and be better tomorrow. We'll try and have a bit more of a substantial line of commentary and not just yo-yo racing, although that's what we are getting in this very circumstance. Grotto is a lap down, but the cars around them are quick. Now, being a lap down around Silverstone has seen a few controversies in the past. Peanuts, F1.5, F123. I believe it was F123. Competing for the championship title with Devon Young. And they tried to unlap themselves during the safety car period. Or, they tried to unlap themselves on the final laps of the Grand Prix in Silverstone and caused some pretty severe issues in that battle. Controversial at the time, iconic later on. Sulkin goes into the pit lane, interestingly, not expecting others to maybe be able to make it, or just not able to make it themselves to the end of this Grand Prix. Not willing to go for a puncture territory. They won't lose any positions. The only car that they have lost a position to are both a lap down. So it is a pit stop that might help them out. A time penalty is to their name, and it is of 3 seconds. But they're also going to be hopeful that they have an opportunity to get back through with this strategy. So Max on out on track. And let's watch on board for a bit between the top three to see how their driving is similar but different. More relative to Ego Pro, a bit further behind. And there's a bit of a different driving situation. Is that the puncture that we were looking at with Sulkin, that we were hoping for them to not see? That isn't a puncture, it's just a loss of traction. Eager Pro having problems. Dropping now behind Frantic. And can say goodbye to anything more. What a shame for the Serbian. Now they've got a lot of progress to make if they want to do anything. But the good news is they weren't exactly slow. It's just whether they have the tyres to take it to the end of the Grand Prix at this point. Just wanted to see how they were doing relative to the top three. Unfortunately, when we pan the camera, they were facing the wrong way, not forward but sideways. And there is a move with a lot of battery still available, made with ease. Just about making it to the inside curb. You could consider the apex if that's what you were aiming for. If you were not aiming for the apex, then well, you're probably side by side with another car and you're trying to find a way to get an advantage. We do have a mix of cars here. A few lapped car drivers. So this is going to be interesting to see how it plays out. The penultimate lap of the Grand Prix we're seeing here. Not much racing going on, but I was warned that maybe this race is the one that we will see some difficult driving. But it will continue to get better throughout the season as the races go by, as the events continue. Eager Pro sees many cars in front. It's going to be some side by side and into the wall. As that will be anticlimactic, we will see a few lapped cars fall down the order pretty fast. So Maxon is about to start the final lap of the Grand Prix, which, although the gap is 2.6 seconds, considering how controlled it's been, especially in the second stint, you would call it a commanding Grand Prix. Zingy has been giving it a very good effort, but we'll see what that gap is in the final lap to see how they can do. And Jericho Willis also, a very good effort from them today. Charlie did what they could, fighting a lot at the start, still made it to a very good points paying position. Cheyenne having some ups and downs with the battery usage, and although it's not over until it's over, they might still have a chance to get this P5. Eager Pro back to the inside line, they know what to do. It's a champion versus a rookie. Eager Pro versus Cheyenne. For the first time ever they race in LSI. They're going toe to toe with somebody who had the most momentum towards the end of the F1 25 game. And now into the new era. Eager Pro showed that they have pace. They should have the upper hand. They should be able to make this move stick. But is it going to work this time around? It would be one hell of an achievement. Samaxon comes to the final few corners and will win in Silverstone. But we have to go back to this battle here because it's about to enter the finale, the final straight. ERS DRS available. What's it going to be? Is Egapro going to get there by the time they get to Stowe Corner? The outside line is what they choose. That's never going to work, but do they have to drive through the corner and into the chicane? They will not. They will not. And Cheyenne will hold off and take the flag in an absolutely incredible defence. They should be super proud of that one. Sir Maxon wins in Silverstone for the first time ever in LSI for F1 26. Zingy in P2, and we'll see Jericho Willis take that podium spot. That is a very good drive from all three. Charlie in P4, then we've got Cheyenne, who just holds off Eager Pro in the end, and then we've got Frantic, Sulkin, and Alzera, with Cravato taking the final point on the grid, and they will make it work in the end. Cravato on the way to the beach after this one, taking a point for Ferrari. So Maxon's going to be happy with that one. So Maxon wins in Silverstone, Zingy in P2 and Jericho Willis in P3. We've got Charlie, Cheyenne, Eager Pro Frantic, Sulkin, Alzera, Cravato finishing the top 10. We've got Shinde in P11, followed by David, Sumby and Aaron DNFing earlier on in the race. The session results are exported. The race director is on your screen now just in case, as we might need it. Although it was a lot less dramatic than we've had in previous races. Followed by the pit stop section, and we will see you in a bit for the post-race interviews. Hello everyone and welcome to the post-race interviews of the British Grand Prix. That was an interesting one to start the new era. Welcome Jericho Willis. You had some pretty good pace. The start of the race, I wanted to say it looked intense, but at the same time it looked like it was fairly controlled with the top three, so maybe it got relaxed. And later on the pit stops happened, there's a big split, the pace continued, but there just wasn't any option to really gain anything. Can you take us through it?
I think that about covers it. So, anything else?
Great to see you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, yeah, the start from out front, it was a good start with everyone in front, but there was a lot going on behind me, and I felt like I escaped a couple of moments with Igor and then someone else behind. But fortunately, got out of the first sequence of corners okay, and then it was trying to feel out the battery, how much battery was required to stay with some Axon. A couple of chances at maybe putting an overtake on Zingy, but the challenge, as people are figuring out, if you deploy too much battery passing one person, you might lose the rest. And so that was kind of my concern. I was trying to feel that out, and considering I ended in third anyway, it might have been worth a bit of a risk a little bit early on. But, just trying to feel out these new regs, feel out the car, and, where the benefit and cost is happening. I don't know why I stayed out so long. I think Zingy talked me into it. I didn't really want to stay out that long because the one advantage that I have a slight pace disadvantage over those guys, and probably Charlie as well. But I have a tire wear advantage, and so I should have pitted early, and at least a lap earlier than everyone, probably on like lap 8, maybe lap 9 at the latest. But I pitted too late, and my outlaps are typically a little bit weak, and made a couple of big mistakes, and that dropped me a couple seconds behind Zingy. And then it was just hoping that the tire wear would come back in to find the pace. And so it did a little bit, but I just wasn't managing the battery very well. So I need to take a look at that, try to figure out how to keep the battery topped up a little bit, because I think I was probably losing 2 or 3 tenths a lap by mismanaging the battery. So, but all in all, it was interesting. It was fun to be with those top guys. These guys are very quick. I've been chasing them for the last couple of years and just slowly but surely chipping away at trying to get closer. So it was fun to be closer. But full disclosure, I had a fair bit of practice coming into this weekend. I can't say for sure that the pace will be similar going forward, but I was happy to pretty much be on pace, or at least close, and fight for the podium today.
I mean, a good start is a good start. It looked pretty good from you today, so thank you very much for your effort. Thank you very much for making it today. Earlier races in Europe doesn't seem that bad, but in the US that must be a bit awkward timing-wise on a Friday. But thank you very much. We appreciate it. Really good effort today, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we move on to Sulkin. Sulkin. It was up and down, lots of battery being used, lots of fighting. Can you take us through it?
Yeah, well, of course, the battery usage, it was not optimal at all, I would say. I don't know how seeing Lisa Maxon and those guys are managing to be so far ahead. I thought I was good at managing it. I was not. The battling didn't really help either. I was battling Charlie Iger at the start, and then I was battling my teammate Charlie Norman something and Cravato. No, a Ferrari guy, I think. No, Aaron. Yeah, whatever. And yeah, just I don't really remember. I'm sweating balls right now, so I'm probably DR8. Oh my, this I having a stroke.
I think you are, yes.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
I got at the last part of the race. I had to go down and take myself a drink because I couldn't literally race no more. It's so hot in my room. I'm struggling bad right now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the race was bad. Didn't have pace, didn't have battery management, was slow in the qualifying. Just slow everywhere, to be honest. It was bad.
Did you learn a lot though?
I have to do some practice. And I'm really struggling with this game. Like to get the hang of it, the battery is so hard for me. Like I'm not good at managing it. Lifting is really weird for me because I've played Le Mans for quite a bit now, and there's just push, push, push. But now it's holding back, trying to be efficient with the braking, and yeah, I can't really do much with where I'm at right now.
Fair enough. Well, it sounds like a plan to get some practice in and try and figure it out. Hopefully it comes to you in a bit of time. Thank you very much, Solkim. Go and cool down, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks.
And we move on to Samaxon. Samaxon, welcome back to LSI. Welcome to the top step. How was that?
Hello.
It looked pretty controlled throughout the entire thing, although it was close in the first stint. The second stint, you didn't really slip up.
Well, the whole race was just boring, to be honest, just like the cars are. Euro's management makes every straight, every corner. You just don't push. After every race like we had, I would be just sweaty. Now I'm sitting here and I don't feel a thing. I don't know, first stint has been quite decent. On lap 9 I completely forgot how to drive on both on Wellington Straight, and then before Cops I didn't use boost the way I always did, so that was almost 2 positions gone, and then just understeer and Magazine Beckett's told me to pit. I mean, it was also the lap I was planning to pit, lap 9, and then second stint was just managing battery. I don't know, what can I say more? I don't want to drive this anymore, and I'm probably not gonna do it. So yeah, I'm gonna take the win and leave.
Fair enough. Thank you very much. And we won't see you next time. Thank you so
Yeah.
much and well done today.
Yeah.
And yeah, enjoy the summer. Thank you very much. We'll move on to Zingy. Zingy, that was... You were in the lead for a bit, but a similar situation between you and Samax and Jericho Willis. Can you take us through it? And also, you did manage to gain a lot on your pit exit, or at least your outlap, sorry, but then later on it just didn't quite come together.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, qualifying, I'm very surprised that I even managed to get anywhere near some marks on. My times were looking kind of mid, and then I managed to pull something out with some advice from Jericho, which was very, very nice of him to lend me. And from then on, I just managed to put myself in second place, just drive the race I was going to quite casually. Of course, the first person that pits gets 100% battery on in the pit lane for whatever reason that may be, so just gets like a stupid advantage. And although he was quicker than me today, I reckon if I was able to actually stay in the overtake, it wouldn't have had it so easy. But unfortunately, he played the strategy better. I didn't want to risk my tyres getting blown out, so I just drove my race the way I did, and me and Jericho had, well, not really a battle, but he was closing up to me near the end. He had such better tyres, so yeah, I mean, it was kind of awful, the battery management and all that. You can't push. It feels as though I've got a lot more pace, and I'm sure a lot of people do have a lot more pace in them as well. But yeah, kind of just sucks really, if I'm honest with you. And it's not fun at all, and it's not racing.
Was it true that Jericho said that you convinced him to stay out for longer?
Well, I said initially, like, oh, we can all stay out longer, implying me, him, and Samaxon. Samaxon didn't want to do that for whatever reason. We could have just kind of had a bit of a fun race on very dead tyres, but he didn't want to do that. So I think Jericho kind of agreed to that, and Samaxon didn't. That's kind of what it is. But it was all good. It was all a good laugh anyway. We were all just taking the piss the whole time, so it's nothing too serious.
Fair enough. Thank you very much, Zingy. Well done today. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
And that's been it for the post-race interviews. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for the Saturday tier. For the Great British Grand Prix, we'll see you next weekend for round 2 of the summer season. Should be a good one as we get more in the groove of things in Belgium. Have a good one, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.